Is it possible to beat Half-Life 1 with only a pistol? No, video's over. I'm kidding. But can I beat it with only 2 weapons? Now that question I can answer. I've seen a few people try something like this, but those runs were all crowbar only, which I just don't have the dedication to do. But having a pistol makes things a lot easier, and also surprisingly more entertaining. Let's explain the rules. I have to play all of Half-Life 1 using only 2 weapons, the crowbar and the pistol. I'm not allowed to pick up any other weapons, and if I do, I must load a save from before I picked up aforementioned weapon. I am allowed to use any glitches or exploits as long as it doesn't require picking up a weapon. Will this challenge even be possible? Let's find out. This challenge begins like any other Half-Life playthrough, on the 10-minute tram ride into Black Mesa. Of course, I couldn't be bothered waiting for it, so I did a little bit of, You know, I really just, don't feel like doing this. Oh, there we are. Instead, what felt like 10 minutes were spent waiting for this guy to open a door. Hurry up! Once the doors were opened, I made my way through the facility, picked up the HEV suit, and proceeded to bop to the epic sound of Klaxon Beat, which actually made me quite dizzy. Then came the whole tedious process of the test chamber, climb up, start the rotors, blah blah blah. Yeah, hang on, let me go work. Oh yeah. In came the specimen, which I promptly threw into the spectrometer at 1,500 units per second, and it was at this point where you could hear me already going insane. I guess I did it too fast. Perhaps it was the looming thought that this challenge would be impossible, or it was just the fact that I would actually have to do power up. Either way, the resonance cascade occurs, I make an offering to these Vortigaunts, and boom, the game starts. I wait for this guy to open a door, take 7 damage, ignore this head crab, and here's the crowbar, one of the only 2 weapons I'll have for the entire game, which I immediately use to brutally murder this guard for his ammo, and make the remark, "Yeah, I kinda need all the ammo I can get," and go on about my business. Which leads me to where the first gun pickup is, the other weapon that I'll be using for the whole game, the pistol. I hopped forth, ignoring these enemies completely, and then I failed this jump a few times. Oh! I think I might just try that one again. Oh no. No! Then I finally get it right, and perfectly jump across this gap, move at 1,500 units, and skip an elevator to enter office complex. Not much was different about this chapter, as I typically go through it with just the pistol and crowbar anyway. By the end, however, realization set in that this wouldn't be as easy as usual. Maybe I just won't. Then comes the theoretical 5th hardest chapter of this challenge. Keyword theoretical, because by now, if you know anything about Half-Life, from my movement alone you can tell what's about to happen. Epic gold source skips. Yeah, if you weren't aware already, We've Got Hostiles can be skipped almost completely by mashing E on the scientist, pushing him into a door, and killing him. I had to make sure to avoid the shotgun on the table though. On to Blast Pit, which starts with me eating the ground on this elevator skip. Fuck! First try. Once I got into the missile silo, I had realized my first hindrance, not being able to pick up grenades. Though not very impactful at all, as I could just walk past the big tentacle creatures in my way. I carried on fairly normally, turning on the fuel and oxygen, hopping back, turning on the power, hitting the button from the outside, and Blast Pit was done. Next is the theoretical 4th hardest chapter, Power Up, which can be easily skipped with the use of Right, can't use those. And then that realization hit me like Gordon's crowbar. Oh, I just remembered I've gotta do Power Up. It was only shortly after that I came to my next terrible realization. Oh, I can't even pick up the guns! That's right. Since picking up MP5s was my only way to get 9mm ammo, I couldn't even refill my ammo by killing grunts. Regardless of this fact, I still powered my way through this chapter, though insufferable and absolutely not complaint-free. Oh, and when I say power through, I mean I had to sprint directly through a horde of grunts, which definitely cost me. I've got no suit left. I emerged to turn the power on before noticing that this big guy wasn't chasing me, so I shot at it a few times, and I got a little closer. What are you doing? Oh. And then it transformed into wide. And I could progress. Oh. On a Rail, the most controversial Half-Life chapter, and to say the least, it was annoying. Fun fact, did you know that all of On a Rail can be completed without going on a rail? There's also a suit charger that you can access through this wall here. Seems like the train isn't the only reason this chapter sucks. Also, this happened. My next problem came about at this elevator because what you're supposed to do is use a satchel and detonate it once it gets to the top, but I can't use satchels, so I had to get creative. I first tested how many shots these boxes could take, and to my surprise it worked. Twice. The challenge can continue. Nothing else happened until the rocket. Speaking of which, I activated it through the wall. Seems like you can do that a lot in this game. I then took the opportunity to ride the rocket, and then I did this. Anyhow, apprehension. Not much to talk about. Ride a train, not for long, almost drowned, big fish, giant freezer, and then Black Ops assassins show up out of nowhere and all die shockingly fast because the Half-Life 1 pistol is actually a pretty powerful and accurate weapon. There's a promise of surface access, and then Gordon gets ambushed by only 2 guys and is thrown into a trash compactor. Act 1 was complete, so I came back the next day, refreshed and ready to hear nothing but the sweet sounds of a Glock 17. Before I get it back though, I wake up falling into aforementioned trash compactor and immediately begin hopping out. I don't know, it must have been the 7 hours of sleep that I got the night before. Grab weapon 1, break a vent, and get out of there. Grabbing the pistol here is actually rather unusual for me. Nevertheless, my loadout was complete for the rest of the game. I then looked for some ammo, and against my luck, there was none. Not that it would matter anyway, because the next usage of ammo would come at the start of the next chapter. I spent half of residue processing trying to jump over this trip mine, which eventually worked, and I was able to move on unscathed. Until questionable ethics, where a broken feature causes 5 hound eyes to start attacking me at once. This was only indicative of everything else that was to come. The lobby was possibly the hardest part of this chapter, mostly because I couldn't get any ammo. Though I got a grunt to kill himself with a grenade, so that was rather amusing.
Fucking idiot.
Pushing a button through this wall, again, I'm able to skip the upstairs bit altogether. Worried, I scoured these boxes to find anything, and to my luck there were 2 pistol clips on the floor, which was an absolute lifesaver. The third most difficult chapter of this challenge, Surface Tension. It doesn't start out too bad, in fact it actually starts out fairly strong, having a jump into the dam and giving a whopping 159mm ammo just after, and getting into the storm drain is fairly standard in difficulty. The cliffside is somewhat challenging, and I had to make a run for it past the helicopter. Afterwards I did a bit of cheeky camping to kill these grunts, and one of them fragged his teammate.
Did he just frag his teammate?
I also found out that there are suit batteries in these crates. Just sitting there. I didn't even know. I jumped the fence here like the disobedient teenager I am and walked into the ordnance storage facility through the ceiling. And to no avail, looked for some more ammunition. Not that it would matter in just a few minutes. I made it through the absolute war zone that surrounds the weapons locker, and finally, full pistol ammo. Although not before being reminded of the challenge that I had put myself under.
This is a luxury. This is a curse.
This is also about the time where I should explain mounted guns. For this challenge, I'm not counting them as weapons because my rules only stated that I couldn't pick up any other items, so it's fair game. That and they're required for a few sections. Moving on to this door here, I just went right through it because you can just jump over the explosives due to this whole building being attached to a trigger.
Yeah, now get fucked.
In this corridor here, I did something rather questionable. I stood and intentionally took damage. This is a setup for a glitch I'll be performing in just a second. I had to clear out this field of enemies first, almost get blown up, have to load saves multiple times, get this guard to open a door, and... this glitch kind of explains itself. The number only reads as 255, but it's far more than that. I'm not sure why it happens, perhaps something to do with collision, but I don't know. I had some trouble getting this guy to move, so once I got him to where I wanted him, I committed murder in a blind rage, because by this point I was completely done with this challenge and was ready for it to beat itself. I could only dream for a moment, however, because the shortest chapter in Half-Life, Forget About Freeman, was up next on the chopping block. Essentially my only problem with this chapter was having to run past a tank. Lambda Core. This one, despite giving me full pistol ammo, opens rather poorly, with the first thing that I have to run past being Black Ops assassins, and the next being 4 alien grunts that I am required to kill to open a door.
So sad that I have to kill you guys. Not because I like you, but because it's a pain in the ass.
Anyway, the door opens and I solemnly walk past one of the most powerful weapons in the game before heading down an elevator. This chapter, much like the Blast Pit, is one where you have to turn on 2 things and run back to where you started. This one has the added bonus of needing to run past 1, 2, 3, 4 different alien grunts, and then solve a teleporter puzzle. Another 50 bullets, a long jump module, and a teleporter fight that I failed multiple times later,
Oh, what?
I'd made it into Zen. From there, all I had to do was get to Gonarch's lair. And then the worst part of this entire challenge had come about, trying to fight Gonarch. The fight looked like it was going well since I couldn't see the damage I was taking until I could.
Oh no! Oh, I'm f***ed. I don't know how much health I did get, but it was clearly not enough.
So I gave up for the night and decided to come back the next day. The following morning, I booted up the game and tried my absolute best with what I'd been given. The fight went a bit like this. Phase 1, 68 pistol shots combined with some intermittent crowbar swings. Phase 2, another 80 shots and some more crowbar swinging. Phase 3, my last 47 ammo, and I had nothing but my crowbar. But the problem with Phase 3 is that Gonarch is on an elevated surface, insusceptible to crowbar attacks. This meant that I would have to get creative. I tried jumping to hit it over and over, but by that point my health pool had already been drained to something like 400. I was completely out of options. So with a heavy heart, I had decided, is it possible to beat Half-Life 1 with only the first 2 weapons? The answer is a resounding stop. I have an explanation to make. As of recording this audio, it's been just over 4 months since I completed this challenge. It's even gotten to the point where it's an inside joke between me and a few friends of mine. In the original recording, and in the script I wrote to go along with it, I had cheated in pistol ammo to beat the challenge. I wasn't happy with this outcome. I wasn't happy with most people's first impression of me being that I had to cheat to beat what is frankly a near effortless challenge, and I wasn't happy with my half-assed excuse. So, what was my solution? I did it all again. I beat Half-Life 1 in its entirety with just the first 2 weapons. Same rules, but with a few differences in action compared to the original attempt. First off, the infinite health glitch. In my original attempt, I had only stood in the door for 30 seconds. This time around, over 5 minutes. This meant instead of having a health pool of only around 3,000, I would have something closer to 33,000. So that's one problem solved for. But what about running out of ammo? Well, thanks to a larger health pool, I could take a lot more crowbar swings at both bosses. 2 birds with 1 stone. Second, because I wasn't going to do any dirty cheating this time, I had to figure out another method for acquiring ammunition. So my solution to that was just to scour anywhere I could find it, including the Nihilith teleport rooms, but I still ended up running out. So with that, I had decided, is it possible? Nah, I'm just kidding. I made like a madman and started swinging. And with that, it's official. Is it possible to beat Half-Life 1 with only the first 2 weapons? Abso-fucking-lutely. And one more thing. While the original attempt had me decline G-Man's offer, Half-Life 2 with only a pistol, this time, I went for it. So that's it. Half-Life 1 with only a pistol. A note I want to add. If you've got any criticisms, suggestions, or things I generally just could have done better, leave them in the comments. This is my first proper video, so the only thing I can do from here is improve, and I'm truthfully excited to make more content. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you at some point, hopefully. I don't know, how do people end videos? So, can you beat Half-Life 1 with only a pistol? No.